the Great Bexley Conservative Recycling Con. This week we're taking an in-depth look at one of Bexley Conservative's flagship policies, recycling. Bexley Tories are very proud of their recycling record. They've told everyone that the pain of introducing the new system was worth it because they now recycle 50% of the borough's waste. But behind the headlines, what's really going on? Has cutting collections to once every fortnight rather than every week made a positive impact on the borough or not? Let's look at what the council claims are the benefits of the new system. First of all, the new system meets the national targets for recycling. Secondly, it makes things simple for local residents so they can recycle more. Thirdly, it stops waste going to landfill. Fourth, it saves the council money. And fifth, it's helping keeping the borough clean. Well, let's dispense with that first one straight away. There's no doubt that Bexley is the lead borough in London for recycling. They are collecting 50% of local waste, so they're meeting Labour's national targets. Well done, Bexley. Now let's look at the second issue. Is the system easy for residents to use or not? Well, the system Bexley chose to put in involves every household having at least 5 bins. In addition to the green general waste bin, each house has a second wheelie bin for garden and food waste and 3 boxes. One for plastic bottles, one for glass and one for paper. I've already met people who have 10 of these bins to cope with their large families. In fact, I met one lady who's got 13 bins cluttering up her driveway. Now in Greenwich, the borough next door, everyone has just 3 bins. A wheelie bin for organics, a wheelie bin for all the recyclables, and one for everything non-recyclable. Oh yes, and they're collected every week. So what's the justification for Bexley demanding everyone have 5 boxes? This is Councillor Gareth Bacon, who in addition to his other 2 full-time jobs, is the Cabinet Member for Recycling on Bexley Council. In January last year he said, "Because Bexley residents use separate recycling boxes and bins, our materials are highly sought after by processors." But Labour's investigation has discovered this is not true, because Bexley often mixes the waste at the point of collection. This is us filming a typical street collection in Brampton Ward last week. Keep an eye on the guy to the left of the picture. Here he is collecting waste boxes and putting them in a large bin which goes in the truck. What's he got here? Aha! It's the maroon coloured bin, that's the plastic recycling box. Okay, fair enough. So he puts that back. But hold on a minute. What's he doing now? Well, that's the black bin. So he's putting the glass bottles and cans into the same collection bin as well. Now, is this just an isolated incident? Has he made a mistake? Let's watch. Well, here he is collecting some more plastics. That's the maroon colour bin, so in-depth check of the contents. Yeah, that's definitely the maroon coloured plastic recycling box. So now he comes along to the next house. Aha! There are some boxes to collect. So he brings his big collection bin round. Once again, the first one to go in is that maroon coloured box. Now you can see quite clearly that is the plastics recycling box. That's in. And into that same collection, there goes the big black box. That's the glass recycling box full of glass and metal cans and tins. Now, is this just one collection guy, or is this council policy? Let's watch the guy across the road instead. There he is, with his collection bin, putting in the glass bottles, and then moving along to the next house. There go both the maroon plastic bottles and the black box full of glass and metal. Oh, full marks to him for picking up that plastic bottle he left behind. Now, where's all this recycling going? Well, there you go. It's going into the back of the same truck as mixed waste. So why are local residents in Bexley being told that they have to separate out their recyclable waste if the council is mixing it back together when it gets collected? Perhaps the council's attitude was best summed up last year when a council spokesperson said, "Well, we've told local residents, here's the wheeled bin you've been asking for 20 years, and if you're good, we'll collect it every fortnight." So they don't want the system to be easy to use. Simple for local residents? I don't think so. Let's have a look at the next issue. With all this recycling going on, we are keeping our waste out of landfill, aren't we? Let's have a look at the latest figures. Here are the tonnes of waste which were sent to landfill from South East London authorities in the last year, that's 2008 to 09. Greenwich Council sent 3,486 tonnes of waste to the dump. Lewisham landfilled nearly 10,000 tonnes. And Bexley, well, despite all the recycling, Bexley Council still sent an astonishing nearly 56,000 tonnes of waste to landfill last year. That's actually only about 15,000 tonnes less than it was before Bexley brought in its expensive new recycling system. Why? Well, while Bexley's recycling figures are very high, it sends very little of its waste, compared to other authorities, to incineration plants where waste is burnt for energy. So, is Bexley successfully keeping your waste out of landfill? I'm sorry, no. Well, the next claim is that Bexley Tories are saving you money with their new system. There are three components to this. First, they argue that the system they are now operating is cheaper than the old system. Second, it is saving money from landfill taxes which otherwise the council would have to pay. And third, you are getting good value for money on your council tax. So, are any of these things true? Well, the council's new contract is saving about £100,000 a year compared to the old contract. But what they didn't tell you was the £1.5 million cost of the new bins. So the Tories' new system is going to take at least 15 years to pay for itself. Second, are we saving money from all those landfill taxes? Well, a little bit, yes, but not anything like as much as we would if we took up waste to energy like neighbouring Labour authorities. And finally, are you getting good value for your council tax compared to other authorities like Greenwich and Lewisham? Well, here's the Band D average council tax for this year. In Labour Greenwich, it's £1,290, frozen this year. In Labour Lewisham, it's £1,351, up just 2.5%. But in Conservative Bexley, it's a huge £1,427. That's £111 more, or 8% up, on the level under Labour 3 years ago. So, with Conservative Bexley, you pay more for a waste collection service which is not as good as the cheaper one you get from Labour Greenwich next door. Saving local people money? I don't think so. Finally, is the Conservative recycling service giving us the cleaner, smarter borough we all want? Well, we already know that there are piles of bins sitting around people's front yards, and I have met a lot of residents who say that their bins are not being collected for weeks on end. But perhaps the most telling statistic is this. Under Labour in 2006, there were about 581 incidences of fly tipping each year in Bexley. When the Tories came in, that jumped up to 1,086, more than double. And now it's even higher, at 1,185 each year. Or, to put it another way, there are about 3 new fly tips every day reported in Bexley. The borough is slowly being buried under a tide of uncollected rubbish. Where the system won't collect from the door, people are resorting to dumping it illegally instead. Now, how do we know this? Because Bexley Conservative MP David Evanett asked a question in Parliament about the increasing levels of fly tipping in the borough. A cleaner borough? I'm afraid not. That's why, while I congratulate the Conservatives on reaching 50% recycling, I do think that local residents are paying for it with an unreliable, unpopular and unnecessarily complicated service, more waste going to landfill, higher council tax and costs, and making Bexley a grimier, less attractive place to live. It's the Great Bexley Conservative Recycling Con. I'm Howard Dawber for Bexley Labour TV. See you next time.